Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Unlocked Tuesday live stream. I am here every single Tuesday at 2 o'clock Eastern. And if you guys do not know me, my name is Jessie Lang, and I teach people how to buy 1 to 3 rentals per month on autopilot. Now, today we are going to be talking about a topic that if you are not comfortable with, I don't even know that you can honestly call yourself a real estate investor. And I just mean that in the nicest way. We are talking about using other people's money to buy real estate. And so, as always, these are super interactive. I want to hear from you in the comments. So you guys, let me know where you are listening from. Let me know if you are on live or if you are watching the replay. And if you have any questions as we go through this, please put them in the chat box, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, wherever you're watching. If you post your comments, then I will be able to answer those for you. So I do have a little slideshow for you guys, and you guys can actually get a copy of this by texting the phone number. And we'll put this in the chat. Lizzie's not on with me today, so I'm running solo. But if you text 614-368-7391, then we will send you a copy of the slideshow. It will be afterwards. So I just posted that here. Just text us, let us know you want a copy of the slideshow, and we will get that for you. So let's hop into it. So we are talking today about other people's money, using the power of other people's money, to buy real estate. So what does other people's money mean? I mean, obviously, it's like some element of that is pretty self-explanatory. It is money that is not your money. Let me zoom in. Okay, cool. That should be better. So it's money that is not your money. And why would you want to not use your own money in real estate? For quite a few reasons. The first one is going to be leverage. And if you know how to use OPM, other people's money, in a smart way, then you can leverage your limited amount of money with their essentially unlimited amount of money, and you can buy a whole lot more properties. And so the example we have here is, if you are putting 20% down on a property that is $500,000, then you can buy basically 5 properties with the same amount of money. Another example is if you have access to, say, $50,000, and you could maybe buy 1 property, depending on your market, like probably not, or you could put that $50,000 as a down payment against 2 properties or 3 properties, and it's just allows you to scale a lot faster. It also lets you diversify, spread out your capital across other investments, and then accelerate growth. That's really the key here, is the accelerate growth, because you can either do one at a time slowly, or you can leverage other people's money to buy, 5-10 times the number of properties you could just using your own money. So there are really kind of 3 main types of investor funding. The one we're diving deep in today is private money. There's also hard money. I've had on tons of hard money lenders that have been fantastic resources. We provide all of our students with lender connections, but that is hard money is going to be a more, here, let me show you more of it. So hard money is going to be more of a kind of standardized, it's a company that's offering this. It's not a traditional bank, but they have set terms. You kind of fit into a box or you don't. Whereas private money is a personal relationship, someone that you know in your personal life, and we'll go over some examples of people that may be. And they're actually going to lend you money. Maybe they have in a 401k or in an IRA or in a HELOC, whatever it is. And the idea here is you can potentially get a lower interest rate using other people's money, or using private money specifically. You're going to have more flexible payment terms, and it's relationship based, which is fantastic as long as you do what you say you're going to do, which if you're in this industry, I hope that that's true anyways, because you're going to get yourself in trouble. So as long as you do what you say you're going to do, then you should not have a problem here. The cons, you're mixing business and pleasure. That's always risky. We try to, say don't get into business with your best friend or anything like that. But the key here is, it's key to understand, is you're not actually going into business together. This is a loan against a property you own. The lender does not take any sort of asset, or they don't take any sort of claim to the property. They're not on the deed, anything like that. Then, of course, you have your own money, and this is what you want to use as little of as possible, leveraging these other two. Private money is truly the holy grail of real estate investing. If you guys follow my stories, I just posted the other day that I raised $175,000 in 2 text messages. Now, this is a lender that I've worked with for a while, and I texted him and I said, hey, we got a project coming up. We are closing in under 7 days. I'm looking for, I don't remember, the 105 purchase and 60, 70 in rehab. We could borrow the entire thing. So I'm borrowing to cover the entire purchase, the entire rehab. I said, would you be available for this loan? And he's like, yep, let me shift some money around. And within, seriously, 2 texts back and forth, I had raised $175,000. So it's magic. It's really, really good. If you can get this down, your offers are going to be more competitive. The seller I was talking to, I was up against a couple other different investors that I know of. I mean, he kind of told me who else he was talking to, and they needed more time to close, and we could close in 7 days. I could only do this because of private money, even hard money, even your best relationships. They can get you 2 weeks for sure, 10 days. If you're really, really fast, 7 days, but it is nothing like raising money. I could have closed this deal the next day if title work was ready. So it's going to allow you to be super, super quick and competitive in your offers. There's fewer restrictions, less paperwork. And then this is kind of how the process would go. And we're going to talk through each of these. So you would do something in the beginning, either reach out to someone directly or make some social posts on your Facebook, your, Instagram, whatever, that kind of elaborates about the deal, what kind of deals you're doing. You're going to send them a little pitch deck that explains the entire process. Most want to get on a phone call. Totally possible. So you want to get on a phone call. And then once that deal is kind of, you have a deal approved, you already have this relationship built, right? So all you need to do is sign documents. And so we'll go over all that. And everyone, I know you're thinking, and I know you're thinking this because I get this question all the time, is why would they lend their money to me? And I need you to change your mindset and change the way that you are thinking about this, because they are not lending to you out of the goodness of their heart, right? This is not a free loan. They are making interest on their money. You are providing an opportunity for them to make more money than they would through a majority of other investing channels. So even the best high yield savings accounts right now are maybe they're under 5. I haven't checked recently because I don't really invest that way, but under 5%, whereas we're offering double-digit returns. And so a lot of investors, or, even just people with money, like their money isn't making as much as you can give. So you are providing a win-win opportunity. They win, you win. My best lender, who I just talked to the other day, I literally pay his mortgage. I pay all of his bills. I pay for him to travel. I pay for all of that in exchange for, at times, hundreds of thousands of dollars of money. So I am just as important to him as he is to me. And so I want you just to drill that into your mind, that it is not a favor that they're doing. You are providing an opportunity. Okay. So if you get that right, you're going to approach these conversations in a much more, it's just going to make more sense. You're going to be more confident. You're not going to be shy or wishy-washy, anything like that. So who would you approach? You can think about friends and family, business colleagues, especially if you are, we have students that are doctors and lawyers and their peers are going to have a good amount of money. If you know some crypto millionaires, just think in your life who may have access to capital. Now, it's not, and we'll talk about something that I really want you to know, that you will be so surprised at who maybe has money that you don't know about. So I would say these are great places to start, but this is not the end all be all by any means. And there's some advantages, disadvantages here. Remember, if you guys want a copy of this breakdown, we are happy to share it. You just have to text 614-368-7391, and we will get you a copy. So within these categories, there's also some other, types of folks that you want to think about. So older individuals, they just frankly have had more life in order to accumulate wealth. If they had any sort of investments when they were young, they've benefited from compound interest. Even if it was a modest investment early on, it could be a couple $100,000 today, right? High income professionals, we talked about. Other business owners, if you are in the real estate space, if you're a real estate agent or a contractor, all these people. Folks who have started businesses and who likely have some money, and they also understand taking advantage of business opportunities, right? Friends of current investors, that's another just thing you can think about. So power of social media here, this is what I wanted to tell you, is do not make assumptions about who would want to invest passively in real estate, especially if you have an aunt, an uncle, and they see that you're going out, they see that you're buying real estate, and they're like, hey, I really want to do this, but I'm scared. It's like, this is a great opportunity to approach them. I have been absolutely shocked by people who have come out of the woodworks when I post about a private lending opportunity. And I just wish that I had understood it earlier, because I was nervous. Frankly, I was nervous to post. I thought the same thing. Who would want to help me? Why would they want to do this? And I had to get out of my own way and go ahead and start posting these. And the amount of people that have come out, and I have some student stories too. Bob, who was on last week as a real estate agent, he's a student, and he posted one thing early on when he started investing and got like 3 or 4 private lenders conversations right away. He has 6 lenders today that he works with, and he just kind of messages them who has money for what deal. So yeah, just don't assume is what I want you to take away. Now, how can you actually make these social posts? So there's like direct, right? That's the one I just did recently. It's straightforward. It's, maybe you have the deal in hand and you're saying, hey, I'm looking for a private lender. Here's the numbers, all that. So that's very direct. There's also indirect. So these are more subtle. They spark curiosity. They're not actually stating that you're looking for lenders necessarily. And those kind of look like, any of these processes here. So you can share your market knowledge, share market insight, highlight potential returns, discuss your process. You can always engage with a question, and then share your learning and growth. I think people like that one the most and I do that a lot. I will post my mistakes. I will post just things that I learn, life lessons that I learned. I'll post when I am walking properties, and people tend to really like that. So even if you don't have a deal necessarily in hand, but you are walking properties, then this is going to be a great opportunity to do like an indirect social post with the goal of raising some private money. Cool. So what happens? You have now someone who's interested. You're going to want to set up a call with them. But in the meantime, you want to send them some information. So we have a lender pitch deck. It is essentially who I am, what I do, some past projects. Even if you don't have past projects, I have some examples that we give for our students. And we share, take that out. We just share kind of what it would be like to go through the process as a lender's point of view. We have lots of frequently asked questions. And so this template is something that we have in our resource vault that is for our Rentals Made Easy Mastermind. Would absolutely love to talk to anyone who is interested in this. So I'll go ahead and post the link in the chat as well. And then if you don't, you can make this yourself. It's just we kind of take some of the heavy lifting out for you. And we give sample mortgage, sample promissory notes to our lenders, all that. So between the time when you schedule the call and you actually hop on the phone, I like to send this over. I let them look through everything, see about me, see about my project, see about the process, because I want them to come to me with questions. I don't want this just to be the very first time that they understand anything about the process. Now, as you're having these conversations, it is incredibly important that you do not guarantee any sort of return or performance. Real estate is inherently risky. It is. If you do not have a high risk tolerance, hang up now, because real estate, it's risky, just like any investment. And so you want your lenders to understand that. And that's why we don't guarantee anything. Also, because it's, the SEC will come after you. You actually cannot legally guarantee any sort of return, but we can provide examples. We can provide information of like deals in the past, right? So once they say they want to move, you'll need these once they move forward. But I will say you're going to get this question almost from every single lender that you talk to. They're going to say, well, how am I protected? How's my money protected? Now, that is done in two ways. You have a promissory note and you have a mortgage. Now, the mortgage is actually it's recorded as a lien against the property. Literally, when we say lender, this private lender, they're acting as the bank. So the bank would have a mortgage, your private lender has a mortgage. And it describes the property, the condition, if you were to default, which I know no one here ever would, but if you were to default, like what does the foreclosure look like? Any other terms and conditions. And then it gives the proper, or like the loan amount, but it doesn't necessarily outline the interest rate, the fees, if something's not paid back, all that. So that would all be in the promissory note. Now, the promissory note is not recorded. This is something that you just have between you sign it still, but it's not necessarily recorded. So the mortgage is what is the security against the property. Now, if there's a lien, which a mortgage is a lien, if there's a lien, then if you ever go to sell this, a title company will not transfer title without paying this lien off. So I don't want to say guarantee. The security that the lender has is that you can't sell the property or refinance it or anything without paying them off. So you'll definitely want those. These are also templates that we provide for our mastermind students. Anything legally binding, obviously have it checked by an attorney, but it's the same forms that I've used as the lender myself. It's the same forms I've used as the borrower. So they're very fair. They're written kind of both sides. Now we have tax implications. Everyone always asks about this, how this affect my taxes. For the lender, we don't really answer this question. We refer them back to their own CPA. That's just keeping me, best practice, keeping me out of trouble. I don't want to say anything. We just always refer them back to their own legal professional. As far as your personal taxes, when you make an interest payment, same as if you were paying a bank, that actually can be written off as far as your end of year taxes. So any payments that you make to this lender are tax write-offs. It's pretty important. It's pretty good. You can offset, if you pay $1,000 a month to a lender, you can write off, that same $12,000 at the end of the year against your income that year. So it's clutch. Now, making payments, this is something that you can decide, are we going to do payments monthly, which my lenders almost all prefer, or can we just do a lump sum payment at the end? So when I loan money to other people, I'm fine with a lump sum at the end. But most of my lenders, they do want those monthly payments. So how would you actually make the payments? It's kind of up to you. Venmo, Cash App, it's simple, it's safe, but it can't be automated. And so that's, sometimes the first of the month falls on a weekend or you're traveling. And I just never, ever would want to be in the position where I would forget to pay a lender because I want them to have the most confidence in me as possible. So what I like to do is set them up on a Zelle auto pay. And I like this because it's automatic. I can turn it on and off at any point. Pretty much everyone has Zelle. And then I have my best lender on the payment hits at 12:01 midnight. And the next morning on the 1st, every month he texts me and he's like, my goodies arrived. And so I know that the payment came through, and I'm telling you, it is like clockwork. So that is my preferred. If you are working with a lender that's like super detail oriented, maybe they're conservative, you could always set up a loan servicing company. There is an additional cost for this. It's not something I've ever done. But you could, and this would be the same, like, a Shell Point or a Fay servicing. It's like they just service loans, even though they don't provide the loans. So you could always do that. So you guys, this is all about private money. It is a process. It is important that you understand this. It's important that you know how to have these conversations with potential lenders, because the more confident you are during the conversations, the more confident they're going to be giving you, hundreds of thousands of dollars, or even, $20,000, whatever it is. That's their hard-earned money. So this is exactly what we talk about day in and day out in our Rentals Made Easy Mastermind. There are, a lot of great features. Some of the highlights, we have 3 coaching calls every single week. We have a resource vault with every document that you would ever need. It's the promissory note, the mortgage, the pitch deck, just as far as what we've talked about today. But there's also like hundreds of other documents. We have a private Facebook community, super tight knit, where we all know each other, all know each other's businesses, how to support. And then we also have a video boot camp that's going to get you all the way through getting your lenders ready, your entity set up, building your team, getting your deal sources in, and then all the way through the whole BRRRR cycle. So, buying, renovating, renting, refinance, and repeat. We got a ton of bonuses in there. So if this is something that you are interested in, our team would seriously love to talk to you. Book a call to see if you are ready, and we can do a one-on-one session. And the link I put in the chat in Instagram, and I'll put on Facebook as well. So you guys, wherever you're watching from, let me know if this is helpful. If you guys want to keep seeing these, the encouragement really does make a difference. So I appreciate you being here, and we'll see you next week.